Now we'll start with the next factor of production, that is labor. Now what do you mean by labor? Labor means all types of human work, physical as well as mental, done with a view to earn money. Do remember, physically also if you are working any labor, taking a load and transporting it just to earn money, that is also a labor, right? But if suppose somebody is working in the office, okay, that is also a kind of labor. But what kind of labor? It is a mental labor. Okay, so both, if you are doing any kind of such work with a motive to earn money, that is being calculated as a labor. Now next is characteristics of labor. So what are the characteristics of labor? First is labor is perishable. Now what do you mean by perishable? Perishable means at one point of time it get exhausted. Now if worker does not get work on a particular time or a day, right? So what will happen? His energy will go waste, right? So the labor has to sell his labor immediately, irrespective of price paid to him. Do remember, I want to work out today itself, I want money today itself. So what I'll do, I'll try to sell my labor at any cost. Though I will get less wage, less amount I'll be paid for. Okay. So in that case, that is what perishable means. Means at particular time only I have to implement it. Fine. Next is labor is an active factor of production. Previously what we have studied, land is a passive. Passive is a silent factor. It cannot work on their own. But in case of labor, labor is a active factor. That means it can work on their own. Labor cannot be separated from laborer. That means, see, if we say laborer, laborer means what? The laborers means the one who, the work which is being done. And labor means a person himself. Okay. So we cannot separate labor and laborer. They both are together. Now labor sell his labor, not himself. What that means? I am a labor. Okay. So what I am doing? I am selling my labor. I am selling my work. I am not selling myself. Okay. So it is labor is selling his labor, not himself. Labor is mobile. Now what we have studied, we have no foundations on the location of land. Land is immobile. We cannot move land, right? But labor is mobile. They can move from one place to another. Now next is labor differs in efficiency. Now what that means? Two different laborers have different kind of efficiencies. Some can be active, some cannot be active, some may be more capable, some may be less capable, somebody is trained and skilled, somebody is not trained. So no two laborers can have same kind of efficiency. That means perfection. Okay, some may be literate, some may be illiterate. So there can be difference of efficiency on different grounds. Okay. Next is labor can improve its efficiency. Now working can be improved. How you can improve the working of the labor? By giving them proper training. Okay. Productivity of labor can be improved. If you will educate them, train them, no doubt their productivity will improve. Okay. Now inelastic supply of labor. Now what that means? Inelastic means rigidity. Okay. The supply of labor is inelastic. It means its supply can neither be increased nor decrease. Okay. The supply of labor depends on what? No doubt depends on the size of the population. So whatever population you have, only to that extent you have labor. You cannot increase more, you cannot go less. Okay. Now labor is both a means and an end. Now this is a very important word, just mark it, both, a means and an end. Means one who give you production. Okay, the one with whom you can get production. Now end means the one who consumes the commodity. Okay. After production, why are you producing? You are producing a commodity to sell it. Now who are the consumers? Those laborers are only the consumers who are producing it. Okay. So they are mean also. That means they are the source of production also. Equally, they are the end. That means they are the one who purchase the commodity. Okay. Now we will move on to the next topic, division of labor. Division of labor refers to the method of organizing production where the work required to produce a product is divided into different specialized tasks with different workers specializing in each. Okay, now what that means, now we are dividing labor according to the specialization, according to the field particularly. For example, if I want to go for making shoes, so what I'll do, I'll give one part of the shoe to one kind of worker, then another part to one, third one. Now what will happen, if one will continue doing the same type of work, he will be specialized. Okay, so that is the division of labor. Now we will check the types of division of labor. Now what are the types? There are two types, that is simple division of labor and complex division of labor. Now what is simple division of labor? Now in simple division of labor, a worker specializes in the production of a single goods or services. Suppose I want to make a shoe, I will give complete shoe to one worker and he will keep on making shoe. Now what I have done, I have simply divided one particular category to one kind of worker. So that is simple division. Now in a society where division of labor prevails, every worker works to produce only one commodity. Okay, some worker would be producing clothes while some would be making shoes. That is what the example which I gave. Now each worker will be producing the full product. Okay, in simple division, do remember, he will produce the complete product. So that is why it is also called as product based division of labor. Do remember this, you can get differentiation: simple division of labor, complex division of labor. Okay, now simple of division of labor, do remember the important points. First is, in this, it is a simple division, a complete work, a complete task is given to one worker. Now what he will do, he will complete the work, that is complete cloth he will do. Fine. So now this is also known as product based division of labor. Okay. Now next is complex division of labor. Now what do you mean by complex division of labor? This is complicated. Now here what we do, in one product we put many sections. For example, if I want to make shoe, I will not give it to complete one worker. What I'll do, I'll give one part of shoe to one worker, another part of shoe to another worker. So complex division of labor, also known as a process based division of labor. Why? Because we are processing a particular part. So that is refers to specialization within the production process of particular commodity. So production of a commodity is divided in how many parts? Different parts. Okay, to get the work done. Now each task will be done by a separate worker in case of division of labor. I hope it is clear. That is why it is known as complex division. Now what will happen, different worker will complete their task and it will be assembled at one place. Okay, in case of complex division of labor. Now we'll move on to the advantages of the division of labor. Suppose if the labor is divided, what benefits we get? The first benefit is use of individual ability. Now if I have divided the work, now I know the individual ability of the worker, per worker. So what will happen, division of labor allows each person to do what he can do the best. Okay, suppose I know that one of my child can do this work much better, any kind of work much better, and if I'll allot him that work, so I'll divide and I'll understand that whether he is capable or not. His ability will be judged on individual grounds. Okay. Now increase in efficiency. Suppose if you will continuously doing one work, okay, you will be continuously for example, if I'll give you one subject continuously to study, keep on writing essay. If I'll give you keep on writing essays, many of the essays in English, so what will happen, your vocabulary will increase, your English will increase. So that is increase in efficiency. Then next is use of specialized machinery. Now in case of division of labor, it ensures that we will use the specialized machinery for a particular work. Now what happened? This leads to increase in productivity. Okay. Now promotes inventions. What do you mean by promotes inventions? When there is a division of labor, now what happened? Everyone is doing their own work. Now they will take initiative to do better with proper techniques. Now what they will do? They will try to invent more in that. So what will happen? It will promote the inventions. Okay. Next is reduce in waste of time. Now reduction in waste of time means if the work is divided in proper category, what will happen? The waste which will be created in work, it will be reduced. Okay, the time of each and every labor will be properly utilized. Why? Because they are divided. Fine, they are not doing any work combinedly. If they will do work combinedly, they will not utilize their time. They will go for waste work. Fine. So this will not happen in case of division of labor. Now economy in the use of tools and implements. Now what that means? Now it means that it brings about economy in the use of tools and implements because these tools are in constant use. Why? See, I have divided my labor. Fine. Now if a particular labor is using a particular type of tool, that they will keep on using it. Okay, they will keep on implementing it. So what will happen? The tools and implements will be properly utilized. Okay, to the extent of the last extent. So then what will happen? No doubt whatever money I would have spent for that tool, that will be properly utilized. So that is what they say, economy in the use of tool and implements. Now next is encourages large scale production. See, in case of division of labor, we always see that this kind of division is involved in big industries. Why? Because they have ample of work to do. So now if they have ample of work to do, they will divide it among different workers. Okay, so that is what it encourages large scale production. Next is reduction in training time. Now what do you mean by reduction in training time? I have divided my work and a particular work is being given to one type of worker. Now if he'll go on undergoing all that work continuously, what will happen? He will be learned. That means he will learn the process whole part of the process. Now I need not bother to give extra training or extra time for training, so that will be saved. Now last but not the least, improvement in the quality of production. I am specialized, I am working in my field. Now at the end of the day, I will be so well versed that I will produce without any guidance and all, and as a result the consumer will be benefited. Why? Because they will get better quality. I am totally skilled. Okay, so I'll produce better, consumer will get good quality goods. I hope the advantages are clear to you all.